third act of this is like sort of like. I told you backstage because I was like, shit, I did like, well, what am I supposed? I'm a bad interviewer. What do you not want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? You're like, what do you want to talk about? I said, honestly, if I met you at a party, I would start the conversation with the topic of when is it enough? When is enough, and what does that mean? And because it circles these areas of like. The fraud complex we've dealt with, that's the road of trials. And we don't need to be hooked up to a polygraph, and I can ask you 1,000 times, do you have a fraud complex? And you can either say yes or no, and we'll never really understand, like, do you really, like, do you look in the mirror when you go home at night and go, Judd Apatow? Who are you kidding? I
had this conversation with my psychic yesterday. Honestly, I was talking to a psychic.
With your psychic?
My psychic.
Would you recommend them?
It's hard to know because it's always hard because I got to see if the predictions work or not. So I need a little more time to decide if the psychic was good.
Sure.
But there was this psychic that we were talking to because we occasionally like a good psychic, and this woman was just wrong about everything, but really confident. You know. So she's like,
you and your wife, or what?
Well, it was separately. But the woman was like, you like the classic cars? You like the classic cars? Like, no, your mom's not doing well. She's got the Alzheimer's. I'm like, well, no, she's dead already. Yeah. Like, but she also took big swings at like really terrible things happening. Like she.
You were in Katrina.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to even turn that into. But a storm.
Yeah.
You've seen your share of storms.
But she did say to me, she goes, you're depressed, right? You thought about killing yourself, right? And I was like,
no, for real?
Big swings.
For real?
Oh yeah.
Wait, that's a fucking.
It's
that's
like
a home run hitter.
If there was a psychic movie equivalent of Slapshot or Happy Gilmore, so fuck it. There's a prude antagonist psychic centrist who's like, you can't read fortunes like that. Like, hey, fuck it. You fucked Paul Bunyan. No, I didn't. Well, you're gonna. Woo! It's in the way that you use it.
So was she close?
She was wrong on everything.
Everything. She missed on everything.
Every single thing. She was wrong. But I felt bad because I felt like she looked in my eyes and just thought, like, I think that those people mainly just look at you, and if you're in a good mood, they kind of say things that support that, and if you're in a bad mood, they're like, you're having a hard time, aren't you? And like I gave off the terrible vibe that she just thought my life was trouble.
But she clearly didn't know who you were. She wasn't a big Apatow fan. But she didn't. Like, if she knew you, she would have been more like a little.
No, she didn't.
On point.
Well, she was English. She was English.
She's like, this is 40, isn't on cable yet, and you're like, no, it is, and she's like, well, not here.
Have you been to psychics?
Do the English not like dig your movies? Like, why?
In England, do they dig them? I don't know. I've gone places and it never seems to catch on in a big way.
Well, you are pretty anti-British in your.
We've worked with the Russell Brands and the English people, and it doesn't seem to explode the whole thing.
I only went to a psychic one time. I was on a road trip, and I was like, fun, go in the psychic. That's what everyone thinks. No one thinks, severe, I'll go into a psychic. But I thought it would be an occult experience. I didn't know it would be. It's like she laid out some. I think she did some tarot cards, or maybe it was palmistry. I can't. But because what I remember is she was like, "Well, you want to do this, but you want to do that." It was actually the opposite of what you're describing. Like tiny little weed whacker swings that couldn't help but be accurate. It's like you're conflicted about something related to your life. Like you're good. And it was like, the part of you that went in, paid money, is like, that's the smarter move because you actually are engaging in a self-inventory that could be beneficial. It could be a form of therapy. But then at the end of it, it's like, it just turned into like this. It's like, you've turned your back on Christ and he just needs to... And it just, everything got Christian. And I'm like, wait, how do you know
That's been our show,
Jewish?
you guys. Thanks for coming.
How do you know I'm not Muslim? And aren't you a witch? How are you even on this team?
When,
What do you even?
when I was like 10 years old, I got my palm read, and the woman looks at my hand. She goes, "When you're in your late 40s, you're gonna have an injury to your right ear." I'm like, "Give me this hand back." There's no way there's that many lines. It's fucking impossible. Like
We went to a psychic, and the psychic implied, like, we were about to go on vacation to Hawaii, and she was like, I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm seeing some windy roads, and like she was implied we were gonna die on the vacation, and so we went to Hawaii and like hid in the room for 10 days, like.
Until you realize it's an island. Every road is supposed to be windy.
Yeah.
The dangerous roads would be straight.
We got scared, but we proved her. I don't know if we proved her correct or not correct because we didn't die.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And also, I think the same woman, like 2 months later, read my hand. She goes, "You're gonna live forever."
Whoa!
I'm like,
whoa!
But what about my fucking ear?
It's like you're Thor or something. Like, you're gonna live forever, but your brother's gonna take your ear. He's a giant ox.
Yeah. Also, I've been told I'm gonna have 3 children. I think that ship has sailed. So like everything was a lie. Nothing's ever been accurate about